Hello everyone, your favorite retired streamer, Wolfie here, coming at you with another one. Now, in this one, what we're going to be going over, budget streaming equipment recommendations. And well, let me just say, now is actually the best time to do something like this, to mention it to you, because there are going to be a ton of sales going on since it's holiday season coming up right now. So I'm going to be going over those recommendations. So for those of you shopping around out there, this will probably end up helping you out. Now for those of you that are new around here and you're like, why should I listen to your recommendations? Well, if you don't know about me, I used to be a streamer on Twitch. I did it for quite a few years. I did it full time. I was partnered. When I say full time, I mean I did it for a living. And around the time that I stopped, I had 30,000 followers. So I kind of know my way around streaming equipment because of all the experience that I've accumulated over the years just streaming myself and trying out different things and becoming familiar with these brands out there. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Also, I will have a Amazon link in the description and I'll have all the items listed down there, so I'd really appreciate it if you do decide to pick up any of these items that you end up using my link, or if you're going to Amazon, use my link in order to go to the website before making your purchase. It's an affiliate link, so using it will support me. I'd really appreciate if you did that. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Okay, so first off, the main thing about streaming, broadcasting your gameplay, capture cards. So the best budget capture card is actually not a capture card, it's a console. It's either a PS4 or an Xbox One. So if you're wondering about capture cards and you're looking for the budget of the budgetist, how do I say that? Yeah, the best budget capture card you could buy without actually buying a capture card, you're buying a console really, PS4 or Xbox One. Either one of those two. The PS4 is on sale for, I believe it's $200, so is the Xbox One. It's on sale for roughly the same price around this time of year. And remember, like I mentioned, I'll have Amazon link down below. So there is that. And well, if you want to go past that and actually get a capture card, know that capture cards aren't exactly budget items. And what I mean by that is, at the very least for a capture card, you'll usually end up spending at the very least like $100. Capture cards are pretty steep, and that's on the lower end side. Capture cards, yeah, they're pretty steep in price. So let's go ahead and take a look at the capture cards that I would recommend. So for my capture card recommendations, what I'd recommend, I'm going to go for a couple of capture cards. There's going to be more than one, but one of them is the AverMedia Live Gamer Extreme 2. This is a external capture card, so it's outside of your computer, and it's a USB 3.0 capture card. So you're going to want to make sure that if you do end up going with this one, your computer is compatible. It has a USB 3.0 slot so that you can use it with this. Now the price for this is $129 at the moment, and all of these items have the possibility of going on sale and being much less for either the Friday, the Monday, or as we get closer to Christmas. There's the possibility of that. It's most likely going to happen. I've seen it happen with most of these products that I'm going to go ahead and mention to you. So $129 is the current price. It says it does not support Windows 7 and Windows 8, Windows 10. So that's something else there that you'll need to check with your computer to make sure it's compatible. And well, yeah, that's my first recommendation. Let's go ahead and move on down to my next one. And also one thing, this company AverMedia, I have a lot of experience with them. I've used 2 AverMedia capture cards over the course of my time as a streamer, and the second one I actually still use occasionally to this day. It still works. Now the first one, I had no issues with that. I used that thing every day pretty much for, let's say, about 2 years before it finally gave up on me. And then afterwards, when I ended up buying another one, it did give me a few issues here and there, but it wasn't anything too major. Occasionally it does act up where it'll not really turn on, it'll just not work, but it will work once I take it out of my PC and I put it back in. I don't know how that works exactly, but it does work fine, that aside, and also it is an internal capture card. So moving on down, I'm going to go ahead and recommend the Elgato HD60S. Now, all of these capture cards do 1080p and 30 to either 60 frames per second. So if you're wondering about the specs, all of them roughly in that ballpark. It's either 30 or 60. So the Elgato HD60S is currently 119, and this one here is actually compatible with Windows 7 and Windows 8, but the thing with them is that the company stopped updating those versions a long time ago, a couple of years if I'm remembering correctly. They did stop updating them, so know that if your computer does have Windows 7 or 8 and you do download the software for that, it hasn't been updated in quite a while because they stopped updating it a little while back. So this is another recommendation, Elgato. I have bought an Elgato product in the past, and Elgato products, I'd say they're pretty decent from my experience, and they're also owned by Corsair, which is a big company. When it does come to the gaming world, they're a pretty big company, so the customer support definitely up there, since it is Corsair that owns Elgato. And I don't think there's anything else that I need to mention about this one, but keep in mind that with external capture cards, a lot of the time there may possibly be a bit of a sync issue where things don't exactly line up, they're not in sync, and basically you may need to add a delay to possibly your mic or your game player, something like that. You may need to add a little bit of a delay in order to fix it with these external capture cards. Occasionally that happens, so that's just something to be aware of and to keep in mind. Now moving on down, I'm actually going to recommend another capture card, and this is going to be an internal one, and this one is actually in the same ballpark price-wise as the external. This is the AverMedia Live Gamer HD2, which is 1080p 60 frames per second, and the price for this is exactly the same as the Elgato HDS, but this being an internal capture card, it's inside your computer. Now this capture card here is compatible with Windows 7, 8, and 10, but for Windows 7 it's not plug and play, so you'll actually have to head on over to the website and download the appropriate drivers in order to use it with Windows 7. So that's something to keep in mind. And this right here, HDMI in, HDMI out is how this one works. So moving on down, we're actually going to be going up in price point now, but because of the sale that will most likely happen for this, it may be in a similar ballpark as this current price here for this one. So this is the Elgato HD60 Pro, another internal capture card, and Corsair, Elgato, that previous one, that was AverMedia. So let's go ahead and move past capture cards now, and we'll go ahead and talk about microphones. So the cheapest microphone, the best budget microphone, the lowest priced one would be the Blue Snowball ice condenser microphone, and the price is currently $49.97. This does work through USB. That's pretty much, you just plug and play. Now if you actually want to step up though from this microphone, then I would recommend either the Blue Yeti Nano or the Blue Yeti, but keep in mind that those microphones, the Nano is fairly small, but the Yeti itself, the Yeti is huge. Yeah, let me actually show that to you here. I do have them, and they are USB microphones. The current price is $86.43, and then for the Blue Yeti itself, that is $108. But keep in mind that the Blue Yeti is a massive microphone. It's really big. I currently don't have mine. I used one for quite a few years. I had a Yeti for, how many years was it? I'd say about 5 years roughly is the amount of time that I had a Yeti for, and it worked perfectly throughout that entire time. And then eventually it stopped working, but 5 years of use, regular use, without any issues whatsoever, I definitely suggest using that microphone if you are looking for one. But remember, this one is a little bit on the pricier side, and this company is the same company for all three of them. Now, as for webcams, the only webcam, the best budget webcam that I would recommend is the C920, the Logitech C920, which is what I have here right now. I've had this for quite a few years, and it served me well. I still have it. I don't use it too much anymore, but it's a great webcam. They do have the C922 and the C922X, which are a bit more, and you would look at them and think you should get those instead of this one, but it's actually not worth it. The price point that those are sold at compared to this one, there's one thing to keep in mind when it comes to using webcams, and that is that whenever you do use them, the software for them with your PC, it's usually not the best. So you may end up finding yourself needing to tinker with your settings every time it is that you go to stream, just to make sure that things like the brightness, the exposure, the gain, the autofocus isn't on and messing things up. You may want to do that, as that can be a bit of an issue, but that's generally how it is with using webcams. So yeah, that is my recommendations, budget recommendations for streaming. Oh, one more thing to keep in mind: if you're streaming from a PS4, you will need the PS4 camera for that, so this will be no use to you if you're streaming through a PS4. The PS4 camera, and then for the Xbox One, depending on where you're streaming, this may be compatible, or you may need the Xbox Connect, which I believe is no longer sold. So, something to keep in mind there. Alright, and there you go. Those are my streaming recommendations, budget streaming recommendations. Don't forget to use my link if you do end up deciding to make any kinds of purchases on Amazon, as that supports me and it's really appreciated. So if this video helped you out, I'd appreciate it so much if you can leave a like and subscribe. And if there's anything else you're curious about in regards to streaming, I've got a ton of videos on my channel, so be sure to give those a look-see if you're curious about anything when it does come to streaming. Alright, I'm Wolfie, and I'll see you next time. Bye.